A luminary in the world of finance, investment, and insurance, Prem Watsa grew up cherishing the values of hard work and education.
All my values come from India. My dad was a hard worker, great athlete, and became the vice principal of a really good school.
It was called the Hyderabad Public School. The school started for princes and things, so it's a really, really good school.
I'd never be able to go to that school other than my dad was vice principal.
Guided by his father's influence, Prem pursued chemical engineering at the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology. It was here that he met his future wife, Nalini.
He was really handsome. Didn't know where it's going, but we met a few times, and when we knew we loved each other, he immediately told my mother that he wanted to marry me, which is not done these days.
Diploma in hand and recently engaged, Prem took a giant leap, moving halfway around the world to attend Western University. His 3-year plan? Earn his MBA, establish a home in Canada, and save money to get married.
But after a year, because he can hustle and he did some odd jobs selling air conditioners, he said, I made enough money, so why don't we get married a year earlier? And as soon as I came, we got married here. My grandmother had great foresight, and she whispered to me before I left, she said, remember, this is the boy the family will depend on. And that was a strange statement when I knew that he was penniless. So I didn't know what she meant. But now I know.
Prem's career ignited when he landed his first job at Confederation Life.
So I'm called for the second interview. There were 4 of us called. Later on, I found out of the 4, I was the only guy who showed up. That changed my life. My boss was John Watson. He introduced me to value investing. He introduced me to Ben Graham. And it was the road to Damascus.
A trucking insurance company caught his attention. The small public company was facing financial difficulty, and Prem saw opportunity. He orchestrated a complex acquisition, but the clock was ticking, and Prem was still millions short.
Then it struck me, one last call. Maybe a company I worked for 9 years, they might lend me the money. They said yes. And then we had control of a company. I'm 35 years old. I've never been on a board. I've never been CEO. I don't know what a CEO does. And suddenly I'm CEO of this company.
And the name itself, Fairfax, is interesting. It was coined by a secretary when very on in the first year, she suggested that it would be Fair and Friendly Acquisitions. From that came the acronym Fairfax.
And that's how our name began, just like that. And we bought the first 100 shares that traded under the name Fairfax for Brenda Adams, our secretary, and we put it in a frame so she couldn't sell it. By the time she retired, she was a very happy lady.
Prem's insurance philosophy was threefold. Be a disciplined underwriter, decentralized so that your CEOs have true autonomy, and, perhaps the most important to Prem, treat people the way you want to be treated. As Fairfax grew through acquisitions, Prem's principled approach became the unifying fabric, integrating diverse companies into a cohesive and values-driven Fairfax family.
It's all about the team. The job of the leader is to create an environment where each of the members of the team can contribute to the very limits of their talent. And guess what happens in that kind of environment? The talents expand.
Prem is one of the friendliest people I've ever met. When you talk to him, he cares more about you. He's not talking about himself. He always has your back. He's your biggest cheerleader.
Because Fairfax is a team sport. President Reagan had this rule that anything in the world is possible if you don't care who gets the credit.
Today, with $33 billion annually in property casualty premiums, Fairfax is recognized as one of the top commercial insurance companies in the world. It stands as a testament to Prem's vision, strategy, and ethics.
Fairfax has had a policy for many, many years that each of its companies are expected to donate 1% of pre-tax profits to charity. Several years ago, Prem decided to make that 2%.
Prem has been an absolutely incredible contributor to the success of SickKids. When you hear him speak about the work that they're doing at the Investment and Pension Committee and what that means in making the lives of our children better while they're going through treatment. And it's just so inspiring and really is another reason to say what a fantastic Canadian Prem is.
It's terrific to see that one can do extremely well in business and at the same time be extraordinarily thoughtful citizens of the country or the neighborhoods in which you operate.